first place we're coming up to is the Woodway Bridge on 58, excuse me, on 421. It is definitely up. The next place we'll be coming to is into Pennington Gap. I heard that the main road is closed, so we will try to go around and we will take a look to see how high the water really is. Still on 421, and as you can see, the water level is pretty high, but it is not in the road yet. Now, the last time this road was shut down, it was not too far past here. There were signs that said the road was shut. We're now passing the hot spot between Woodway and Pennington Gap. I do not see any water in the roadway. It is still pretty high in the river, as you can see. There is indeed water coming off a cliff. But right here, guys, you really need to start slowing down. I think right up here is an orange sign. I think it says road closed. If that's what it is, we will turn around and come back. And it does say road closed right there, so we're going to turn around and come back. Guys, we're back. So that vehicle ended up pulling over and talking to me for a few seconds. They advised that my car wouldn't make it to Pennington based on the road conditions. They also made a good point that if you turn and go across from Jones's auction, it will bring you out at a bridge close to the old Taymont building, and she said that it is also flooded. The only other way to get from Woodway to Pennington is to go across Big Hill. So once we come into Pennington, I will show you all the road conditions. Alright guys, we have made it through Big Hill. And just a little reminder that VDOT is currently on the Woodway side of Big Hill cleaning up a fallen tree in the road. There were a few places on it where the mud has slid off the hillside. Nothing to be concerned about, but to definitely pay attention to if you are passing across Big Hill. Right now we are on the 4-lane between Pennington and Dryden, headed back towards Pennington, where that's the patio, just to give you a reference point of where we are. Once we get parked and get set up, we will come back and let you know how the road condition is underneath the overpass. Alright guys, we are at the overpass here on 421. Where Pennington comes into Woodway. As you can see, there is a Jeep trying to pass through the water. This is just to give you an idea of how high the water really is. Let's see if he makes it. I do see that the water level is coming up to his grill at this time, but we don't know exactly how high it is until we see the marker. The lady who stopped and talked to me said it was 2 feet. So I believe it because it is touching the bridge, as you can see here. But we are just going to give this Jeep enough time to pass. And then we're going to go take a look down through there and see exactly how high the water level really is. Let me zoom back out real quick. Here's another vehicle with Georgia tags that may try to attempt to pass through it. I wouldn't do it because the water level is about 2 feet from what I was told, and that's what it looks like as well. It looks like they may be putting their vehicle in 4-wheel drive. Nope, being smart and turning around. Okay, we are back here still at the intersection where 421 leaves Pennington Gap and goes into Woodway, where the old Payless building used to be. I don't believe that Chevrolet is going to try it. What you can still do is go right past where that truck is and make a right, and that will take you back through Pennington. Several people have already notified VDOT and the police department about the high rising water, but just to give you an idea of how high it really is, this is the bridge, and the water is touching the bottom of it. A lot of people are turning around and heading back the opposite way. I'm not sure if you all can see it right past that Silverado. See if I can zoom in. There's other vehicles trying to get into Woodway that have stopped and are backing up. Like this little white SUV is stopping and backing up. I don't recommend anybody to try to go through it. This truck here is speeding. Wow. Guys, I can't urge you all enough to please use caution if you all are coming from Pennington towards Woodway. Now what we're going to do is we're going to walk right over here to where this guy is and take some more video footage of it as well. And it's pretty safe to say that I'm not going to get hit by a car unless this one turns around. But we're going to go down here and see if we can get a view of the accurate, how high it really is on that sign. Alright guys, we're as close as I want to get without putting myself in danger. Let's see if we can zoom in on this sign that shows exactly how high the water really is. That is 3, 4, and 5 what we can see. So to give you an accurate representation, it's probably at about 2.5 feet of water right here underneath the overpass. I don't recommend anyone to try it. And what we're going to do is simply walk across the street to see if we can get some more video footage of behind the Save-A-Lot building. Now, I'm parked on the other side of the river. This is usually very, very shallow. There's usually hardly anything at all down through here. Now, I'm at a little parking ride behind or beside the Payless building. This is the railroad crossing where the overpass is. The water is coming up through the parking lot, and this is the parking lot beside of it.
Hitting the gas. Now Gers will get to beat that. He lets up, he's had it. Pretty deep right there. He's grip.
Alright guys, as we can see, VDOT is on scene here. I believe they will be shutting the road down momentarily, and that looks like that's exactly what he is doing right now. That is dangerous. It's probably 2.5 feet, maybe a little bit higher than that. And yep, he is stopping. He will be shutting down traffic right now.
Start saying you better close it. Yeah, we're going to. These crazy fools going.
Alright, VDOT is putting out the sign right now. The road closed. So if you all need to get through here, you can't do it.
The other end shut down too.
Alright guys, I'm at the crossroad 421 where you exit Pennington Gap and go into Woodway. VDOT is on scene. They put a road closed to through traffic sign. So this part of the section of the road is closed. I wouldn't recommend anybody to try to go around it or pass through it. I believe it's at the 2.5 to 3 feet mark at this time. The VDOT worker just informed me that on 421 headed towards St. Charles, a section of the road has collapsed, and they're headed up there now to close off the road. So if you live in St. Charles or that area, I would not recommend anybody to go up through there due to the road closure. We are now at the entrance to Lehman Field Park, and as you can see, it is underwater. Over here is the dirt track, ATV racetrack. All of this is also underwater. To give you a perspective of how high the water is, that is a picnic table, and it is almost up to the very top of the table. I say right now it's probably at the level where you would sit on the benches. The water is moving fairly fast across the road, as we can see here. And here's the welcome sign. Now let's take a little walk on the bridge and see how high it is. I believe it is touching the bottom of the bridge. I think I did see that as I was coming in. And for clarification, guys, the water is touching the bridge. And that right there was the picnic table that was underwater last year when it flooded as well. So water levels are just as high now as it was then. Let's take a walk across the bridge and see what's on the other side. We've made it across to the other side of the bridge. Water is moving very fast. Alright, we are at Stoneface Market, or what used to be Stoneface Market, which is right behind me. Just doing a little video to show you all exactly how high the water is right here. It's moving extremely fast, as you can see. Now, I was told just right around this curve up here that the road has washed out. However, I have seen a lot of traffic come through the area. We are going to progress forward to see exactly how far we can go. And once we get to a turnaround spot, we will do another video. Alright, we have made it up to Cold Springs. The spring is just right there. Let's take a very quick look around and see how high the water is over here. The water is extremely high, and right around this curve, the water is actually almost in the road. Right here, guys, on 421, the water is indeed in the road. I would use extreme caution when passing right here. And as we can see, the water is extremely high. It's almost unpassable for a vehicle. So if you have to pass through here, I would urge you all to use extreme caution. We are now passing the Roosters Pub in Pennington Gap, coming up on a bridge that used to be by the old T-Mont building or the old hospital. Somebody said it was flooded. It does not look like it is, and it's not. The water levels are pretty high though, as we can see.